Shauna. I want to give you guys a pros and cons list of becoming a loan signing agent / notary. That way for you guys who thinking about starting this business can figure out whether or not this is something that you should even waste your time, money, and energy pursuing. So I think I'm gonna start with cons first. That way we can end on a positive note. So first and foremost, it's the startup cost and then the upkeep cost. For instance, startup costs, application fees, security bonds. If you want notary courses or loan signing courses, then all the supplies, including your stamps and your notary journals, that stuff adds up real quick, and most of that stuff is not cheap at all. I mean, pens, paper, but when it comes to like your ink, the printer, that stuff can put a dent in your wallet real quick. Then if you're planning to make this a long and successful business, like actual legit, I mean, I wouldn't say legit, but an actual big successful business, then it's like you want to get an LLC, if you want to get a website and keep up your website costs. There's like business softwares maybe you want to incorporate. So if you use Excel, or if you want to use QuickBooks, or if you want to use Notary Gadget, all these things, you know, accumulate. Depending on, like, you can get the cheap E&O insurance, or you want to go for a quality E&O insurance, so you get the nicer, bigger policy, which you're gonna need, because another con to this whole system is that if you do something wrong, you can get sued. And that is like the worst case scenario for most loan signing agents, is that you messed up somewhere and now guess what? They coming after you for your money. Then there's the whole, you know, printing out your own documents and keeping up with all these documents and making sure that you, to avoid getting sued, make sure you do everything right and keeping what people's personal information, making sure it gets here and goes there. Then there's the whole payment area of the whole being a notary signing agent. There's first, if you sign up with signing services, we'll prepare to split your money with your signing service. I wouldn't say right down the middle. Sometimes they might even take more than half the fee, and that's only if you sign up with signing services. Then there's the whole, you have to wait 30 to 45 days. You'll hear the term net 30 or net 45, meaning the paychecks don't come for 30 to 45 days. So yeah, this is not something you can just like quit your job and start tomorrow. Then there's the whole, this is a pro, but it's also a con. Okay, pro is that you have flexible hours. Con about having flexible hours is that being a loan signing agent, this is not a 9 to 5 type job. This is a whenever you're needed type of job. So you might have loan signings at 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night, or 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, because a lot of times the way these things work, say you have a mortgage mortgage loan signing. Well, sometimes this stuff is time sensitive. So they like, yo, we need you to have this in as soon as possible. So can you go to people's house and do the signing at 6 o'clock in the morning, have it sent off to us by 7 o'clock? It'd be like pressure, very pressure heavy. And the thing about it is, if you don't work, I guess this is any job, if you don't work, you don't eat, your bills don't get paid. But it's even more pressure, because it's literally, if you don't work, it's self-driven. Everything is self-driven. If you don't do what you gotta do, it's not like you show up to work, you're gonna get paid regardless. This is like, no, you need to, and there's no boss calling you, hey, make sure you do this, make sure you do that. This is all on you. You gotta make sure you do everything on time. You get all the paperwork right. You. So that's the whole cons about it. So we're gonna shift over to the pros. The pros about it is that it is easy to become a NSA or NSA agent, or loan signing agent, or notary signing agent, however you want to say it. It is easy to become that, in a sense where technically there is no schooling. Basically, if you got a little change in your pocket, you can become a loan signing agent. And when I say little, I mean like anywhere, just to become one. If you got $150 in your bank account, literally you can just become a loan signing agent, become a notary, take your loan signing agent exam, and then voila, you're a loan signing agent. And the exam is not something that you have to rigorously study for. It's literally open book. You can download the book, and as you're taking the exam, look at the answers inside the book. It's like that easy, right? Now, going back to the flexible hours. Cool beans. Say if you're a single mom and you're like, yo, I gotta make sure I'm here at this time to pick up my kids at this time, to go run this errands, buy groceries this time. Literally, you can schedule your job around all your errands, all your appointments. That's because it's your job, it's your career, because this is a career. This is not considered a job. Jobs is like basically just over broke, you're living paycheck to paycheck. This is something that you can actually make money off of, like actually start a savings account and, you know, build your life, right? Again, you're your own boss, meaning you answer to no one. When you pick up the phone, there's nobody ringing you saying, hey, why you ain't at work? It's, hey, here's my invoice, send me my money to this address, or deposit my money into this account. That's how it works. Pros, another thing about it, when it comes to money, this is not a sales job. Don't think it is like I'm going to everybody's door, hi, I have this service. No. You sign up with these companies, you talk to these companies, then they're like, okay, here's work, go do it. And another thing with the pay, like I said, the con is if you use signing services, you split your money with them. However, if you use direct signings, meaning you're with title companies or escrow companies, like you're doing a signing for them, guess what? They give you all the money. You don't have to split with anyone. That's all your money in your pocket. Another pro about this whole gig, say if down the line you're like, I'm tired of loan signings, I want to do something else. Well, guess what? Having notary on your resume look really nice. It boosts up your resume. That's more jobs open for you. And trust, there are plenty of jobs you can get you just being a notary. You don't have to always just be your own boss. You can work for the bank, you can work for the postal service, you can work, there's plenty of places that people hire notaries to do just simply be in the office, and when people come in, do the notary from. For instance, like UPS, literally there's notaries at the UPS office if you want to go work for them. It's just something like you can always have in your back pocket. There's stuff like, literally like notary permit runner. Well, they call it a notary permit runner, but really it's like a permit expediter, meaning you can become one of those. Basically, I'll explain that in another video, but that's a job you can veer off. If you don't want to do loan signings, you can veer off in that lane. Or a notary apostille, really it's just apostille work. There's a lane you can venture out there. There's so many, think of it as notary up here, and then there's branches to it. Like there's other like fields you can take this career, you know? There's not just, oh, if I'm a notary, the only thing I've become is a loan signing agent. There's multiple opportunities and spaces out there for notaries. Now let me shift back to a con really quick that I just thought about. Sometimes the pay is not consistent. So that's the reason why in the pro I mentioned there are other aspects that you can use your notary certification in, because loan signing agents make some decent money, I ain't gonna lie. Especially if you out there hustling and doing what you gotta do, you can make some good money. However, I know it's not, this is a con, it depends heavily on where you are in the United States. For instance, if you live in a big city, like I'm living in Houston, Texas, the money, the work can be constant. However, if you live in some little town in the middle of nowhere in Texas or California, this little quaint town, guess what? You won't be getting the business like that, because how often is somebody buying a house or getting a loan or in that little small community? So location is very important, should I say. I don't think people talk about that a lot. Location is important. New York City, California, Texas, places with a lot of land, a lot of building, a lot of construction, people are constantly That's big towns, big cities, that's where a lot of the money is. If you're in a little small quaint town, I wouldn't say pursue notary and loan signing work. Well, maybe notary, because I mean that's nothing to it, but loan signing work, I wouldn't say do it. Don't get to being like, ooh, I'm gonna be a loan signing agent when I live in this quaint town in Alabama that no one's ever heard of. I can do it. No, I wouldn't waste my time and money. I say pursue other things. Yeah, so location is important. People ask me also, is seasonal stuff important? It also depends. For instance, I imagine in like Denver, Colorado, during winter time, people aren't really looking to buy houses, so they're not really doing a whole bunch of mortgages or mortgage loans because it's cold, it's snow everywhere. People, sometimes you even get snowed in. Who's out there really hunting for houses and stuff? How here in Texas, on the hand, it stay like 98 degrees all year round. So you wouldn't really have that problem. People are constantly buying a house. People are constantly building out here. So it just depends on where you are, what state. Now, you heard me mention on the cons aspect, the whole, oh, you gotta wait 30 to 45 days to get paid. That feels like a con at first, like your first month, 2 months. Well, I wouldn't say 2 months because that feels like, oh, I'm not getting paid for 2 months. That's why I say don't quit your day job just yet. Wait till the money get flowing. So at first, initially, it'll feel like a con. Like, yo, I'm steady going doing this loan signing and I haven't got a cent. I haven't seen none of this money yet. At first it'll feel like that, but then when the checks start rolling in and you've consistently been working, guess what? Those checks will consistently be coming every day, every week, of course every month, but you'll be getting checks in your mailbox or checks, money deposited into your bank account kind of like constantly. So you'll feel like, oh, I constantly have money coming in. So initially, yeah, it'll feel like a con. But once you really get in there, get your foot in the door, it'll feel like, yeah, it'll feel like you're never broke if you get the gist of what I'm trying to say. So yeah, I can't really think of any more right now off the top of my head. Hopefully it's not too long of a video, but thank you for tuning in with me and I will see you guys another time. I'm outie.